Hello and welcome guys to the Diffusion channel. Now first of all I would like to thank you for opening and for watching this video, and I would like to request you, if you like the video, then please hit the like button and subscribe my channel for such a more amazing content. Now let's talk about this video. What is about? It is about learning how to integrate and how to interpret these long clinical questions, and how to see the concepts that we have in various subjects, in all our 19 subjects clinically. That when you counter a patient, how do you apply those concepts? Like here is the classical example of Cushing's reflex. We will apply in this case where a patient comes. So let's see how we can apply the concept. So Cushing's reflex. Let me read the question for you. Now the patient comes to the ER, that is emergency, after having a head trauma. Now the classical history of the patient is of head trauma. In a confused state. Now the patient is not stable, he is in a confused state. And when you check the vitals, when you check the heart rate, it is irregular. When you check the respiratory rate, it is bradycardia. And when you check the BP, you can see the systolic BP is quite high. So the question says, how will you manage this patient initially to make him stable? Now you are the doctor, you have to make him stable. How will you make him stable? This is the question. To make him stable, you need to know what is the underlying cause. Now the etiology is trauma. The patient has come to you after trauma. Now what has happened after trauma? When you see vitals carefully, there is respiratory rate, heart rate and BP. Respiratory rate is irregular, that is you can't make out what is the rate. Heart rate is 52 beats per minute, that is bradycardia, that is less than 60 is bradycardia, more than 100 is tachycardia. And BP, you can see it is 140/85, and what is normal is 120/80. So it is clearly increased blood pressure, most specifically increased systolic blood pressure. So this is what you can make out from the history, and there is trauma and the patient is confused. Now what has actually happened after head trauma? Now the case is of head trauma. What you need to understand is what happens in case of a head trauma. If you understand this, you can easily manage this patient. Now after head trauma, what happens is, if this is the intracranial cavity and this is the brain. Now because of trauma, there is sudden increase in intracranial pressure. So this sudden increase in intracranial pressure is the problem. Now why is this a problem? Why am I specifying it? Because normally there is a balance between mean arterial pressure and increased and intracranial pressure. Now this is a quite balanced thing. You can see that both are well balanced. But if intracranial pressure rises, this is the rise. If it rises more than mean arterial pressure, this is the problem. Now why this is the problem? Because of this rise in intracranial pressure, you can imagine there would be blood vessels in the brain and in the cranium. So these blood vessels get compressed. These blood vessels get compressed because of intracranial tension. Now if they would get compressed, what would the end result? That is simple. There would be decreased oxygen supply to brain. Now this is something which brain doesn't want, because brain has to function a lot, and for that a lot functioning it needs a lot of oxygen, and this compromisation would not suffice for it. So what would brain do now? The brain try to compensate. So how? It will activate the sympathetic system. Now sympathetic system is what is popular known as flight response, catecholamine system, and sympathetic system is a sort of stress system that is released in when we are in stress, and trauma is a stress to the brain. Now because of sympathetic system increase firing, this will lead to increase blood pressure, because to increase cardiac output so that oxygen supply can be increased to brain. Now this increased blood pressure is above normal, and this is not liked by what is known as popularly, yes, you were guessing right, baroreceptor. The baroreceptors are something which likes everything normal. The baroreceptor doesn't like if anything is up or down. So what would baroreceptors do now? The baroreceptors will do compensatory decrease in heart rate. By what? By increasing the vagal discharge. So because of increased in vagal discharge, there is decrease in heart rate. That is bradycardia. Now what has happened? Also, because there was decreased auto supply to brain, so there is altered function of brain stem. Now because of altered function of brain stem, now brain stem has midbrain, medulla, pons. So brain stem is totally responsible for our vital functions like respiratory rate, heart rate, and all. So because of altered function of brain stem, it can't maintain the respiratory rate, and this leads to increase in PCO2. And this increased in partial pressure of carbon dioxide leads to hyperventilation. For what? For increased washout. And this hyperventilation is not regular. So there is irregular breathing. That is, you can't make out the rate properly. There is what is known as irregular breathing. So actually what has happened? Bradycardia because of baroreceptors, increase in blood pressure because of sympathetic system, and irregular breathing because of altered function of brainstem. So this triad, gentlemen, this triad is known as Cushing's triad. That is increased blood pressure, bradycardia, and irregular breathing. And this is how you interpret a head trauma patient. The vitals, the showing signs, important signs which make a triad. That is Cushing's triad, and the only one etiology is for Cushing's triad, and that is, yes, please guess it. That is nothing but increased intracranial pressure. This increased intracranial pressure is the only thing that is leading to this. So if you want to manage this patient, and if you somehow control this increased intracranial pressure, you can make him stable. Now you can see that if you give the patient what is known as osmotic diuretics. Now what will these osmotic diuretics will do? They will excrete excess fluid like intravenous mannitol, because the patient is confused, so you can't give oral. So intravenous mannitol is what you will give the patient, so that the increased intracranial pressure would be drained out, because these drugs, they are hyperosmolar and they need fluid, and then they become isoosmolar, because hyperosmolar means they have increased solute, so they need increased solvent to become isoosmolar, and then they can be excreted via kidney. So hence they are contraindicated in kidney failure. So if your patient has kidney failure, you can't give this drug, because then it won't be excreted and it would alleviate the problem. So don't give in a kidney failure patient. So this mannitol, this IV mannitol, is what you need to give to treat and to decrease the intracranial pressure. Also, as I told you that there is hyperventilation, but this hyperventilation isn't able to act properly because there is altered function of brainstem because of decreased oxygen supply. So this hyperventilation isn't happening properly. That's why there is irregular breathing. So you need to make the patient hyperventilate properly and in a propped up position. Propped up position plus hyperventilation would also decrease the intracranial pressure. Now let me tell you, this irregular breathing in Cushing's or in head trauma is Cheyne-Stokes breathing. Now, did it ring a bell? This is Cheyne-Stokes breathing. That is hyperventilation, or there is deep inspiration followed by a few episodes of apnea, and then again this repeats. So you need to give the patients IV mannitol and proper position, make hyperventilate, and treat the underlying any other condition. If there is any infection, intracranial infection, treat the underlying cause. So this would make the patient stable. Now if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and the diffusion channel. I would make more content for you. This encourages me to make interesting content for you, so that you can understand and you can excel in your field, and that makes me happy. So thank you, signing off.